Hey, everybody. What is, oh,
Oh no. Oh no, no, no,
God,
no,
what a bad
no.
way to start. All right. With these headphones. Hi, everybody. Um, what a nice special Sunday night edition of Over It. But Michelle and I wanted to try something new. We want, first of all, we're hoping we're streaming on Substack. I'm not so sure if we are yet.
Yeah. Oh no, it's live. It's
Oh, good.
live.
Oh,
It's
good.
working.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hi, Substack people.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello, Substack people.
and so what we are, what we wanted to talk about is not necessarily politics on a Sunday night because we have politics on Wednesday afternoons and Saturday mornings. And it's kind of a Sunday night in the summer. What we wanted to do is talk a little bit about cultural stuff because I know that culture has everything to do with politics and it all overlaps. But I have been texting Michelle nonstop about something that I have been trying to avoid like the plague, but much like the Kardashians, I don't care if you want nothing to do with them. It hits you in the face. This is
Oh
terrible.
no.
Oof, good God. I don't know what's going on with
Is
my
it
mic.
your microphone? Like what's going the
Sure, what
feedback?
that is. I think it's the feedback. Um,
Okay.
but what Michelle, like, I resent the fact that I know the names of all the Kardashians, all of their children, all of their
Yeah.
boyfriends. I'm going to take this
Oh,
out because I don't even know what to do.
yeah.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, so I'm going to just take this out because this is awful.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, of all the Kardashians, of all of their stuff, and I feel like I don't want to know about them. I don't care about them. They're not
Well,
relevant
what
to my
what
life.
year was it that Keeping Up with the Kardashians started?
I
Like,
don't
was it
even
like 2007? And like that was a Ryan Seacrest. It was a Ryan Seacrest thing. They started their reality TV show on E Entertainment,
know. Yep.
and it was their claim to fame. I mean, Kim Kardashian had become sort of famous Kardashians early 2000s. Yeah, Aaron was
Yeah. Exactly.
um she had become somewhat famous, I guess you could use the word famous, more infamous for her sex tape scandal. But also, her dad was one of the attorneys for
For
O.J.
OJ.
Simpson,
Yeah.
right? So they had proximity to one of the biggest crime stories of the 1990s. Yes, they are famous for a sex tape. That is true.
That's true.
Yeah, and Caitlyn Jenner was then not Caitlyn Jenner. And so there was all this like, they tried to make it seem quaint, and these people are quaint. And but lo and behold, without much time at all, they kind of became their own thing.
Thing.
And yeah, their own brand of beauty, their own brand of beauty standards. And they all became insanely wealthy, like billionaires, multi billionaires.
And
So
yeah, the thing that bothers me is like I have no interest in them. I wish them all the best. I'm not really sure how they make their money other than through endorsements, but Godspeed. If that's how you want to make your money,
yeah.
like I'm there for you and great. I don't want to know about your baby daddies and about your plastic surgery and about your weirdo fashions. Like, it's just not my cup
Yeah.
of tea. It is a lot of other people's, and that's great. But the part that I can't believe is that we are here again because the new Kardashian model,
Mm.
who I think
Mhm.
has based her entire life on the Kardashians, is Lauren Sanchez. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
somehow this Bezos wedding, which offends me in 27 different ways. Oh, let us count the ways of how it offends me. Um, is back like being shoved in my face. And
I know. It's everywhere.
I actually had a friend who was in Venice this past week.
Mm.
And I texted her and I was like, "Were you just in the midst of all this craziness?" And she said, there are a lot of signs on poles in Venice basically saying like, "Get out of here, Bezos."
Yeah, yeah, I did. I saw that there was a lot of pushback from the community, because Venice is a place that, is it's not a rich place. It's not a terribly wealthy, part of the world, but more importantly, it is a place that has felt the impacts of climate change more than a lot of other places. The city itself is sinking.
Yeah.
Um, and then, these billionaires are thrust upon this town, and all of the vendors and all of the extravagance kind of all, I'm like, I would be pissed too. They're all hypocrites too. I can't. Like the
I,
whole
I
guest
think
list.
Leonardo DiCaprio's there. Like he's a big environmentalist. Like you're in Venice contributing to this
I,
bullshit. Like, come on.
First, let me just put this up. This is the $461 billion wedding, how riches of the Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos' guest list tot up to more than the GDP of South Africa, Bangladesh, or Denmark, which is insane. And here's a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio getting on this boat, covering his face, and he's a longtime friend of Jeff Bezos. But again, like it's like, how do you expect any of us to take any of you seriously? Because Leonardo DiCaprio, known other than his acting career and his affinity towards young women, very young women, is his environmentalism. And it's one of the things that I think actually is or has been admirable about him. But I don't know how you can show up, and listen, that's why he was covering his face, um, is because Jeff Bezos and his company, Amazon, has made a huge impact on the climate around the world, not to mention how their workers are treated. I mean, and he's not a good guy. He's not a good person. He's a piece of shit. So how can we look at any of these people who tell us all the time that they're great people and they're doing great things, but then they show up to something like this? I
And
don't
it's
understand.
not just him, right? It's Oprah, which we'll get to in a
That's
moment.
yeah,
Like,
I'm so
we'll get to
disappointed.
Oprah in a moment. It's Huma Abedin, who, like, come on, Huma, really? Is
I
that
know
it?
that was very disappointing. And listen, I'm sure it's because her husband is Alex Soros. I think had she not, been married to him, I don't think that
Well,
she'd
I
be
don't
at
know.
something like this. But
Why?
I don't
So
know.
what? So the hell what? So her
I
husband's
know.
Alex Soros. So what? My
I
husband's
know.
friends. I don't necessarily have to be friends with them. And
Right,
so,
like
like,
you have agency, you can say
you
no.
don't you can say no. And then the best I read in page 6, because when I'm bored, I read page 6, which is kind of like all the Kardashian names, even if I don't want to, is that this wedding was so preposterous that apparently Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner were invited to this wedding because they somehow have a relationship with Lauren Sanchez, but Kris Jenner insisted that the other Kardashian girls, the Kylie, Chloe, you know,
Yeah.
Goofy, whatever the hell their names are, Sneezy, like they all got invited. And of
Right.
course, they got invited. And so there's pictures of all of them, including Lauren Sanchez, on the little vaporettos, or not vaporettos, sorry, those are actually taxis in Venice that regular people are on the
Those little boats,
boats
right?
or vaporettos.
Which is very deliberate. I mean, this is another thing.
And
It's like the
they're
city.
all waving. Like, who are you
Right.
waving to? Like Lauren Sanchez, like she's blowing kisses. Like, who are you blowing kisses to? You're admiring. What are you, the Queen of England? Like, who is your admiring public?
I know. I know.
It's
Well, and that's the
her.
thing is like
It's your
the
admiring.
the placement of all of this. In their wedding was, took place over 3 days. The placement of the transportation, getting people around, they had to get to where they were going by boat. There
Yep.
was no other place or no other means of getting there. And so this was all very deliberate so that they could show off their guest list to all the paparazzi and all the press and all the people there. There are rumors on, it's not confirmed, so I'll just say rumors that they actually paid people to attend their wedding. There are rumors that Lady Gaga and Elton John performed, or maybe just Lady Gaga. Again, unconfirmed, but these are things I'm reading. And again, like Lady Gaga is someone that I look to as someone who does the right thing and says the right things and cares about people. So again, like I don't understand how she could attend something like this. And I say the same thing for
Probably, yeah.
Eva Longoria, right? Is like one of her besties, this Lauren Sanchez. Eva Longoria, can't speak. Eva Longoria, an advocate for the immigrant community. She is Mexican American, is best friends or very, very close with Lauren Sanchez, and was at the bachelorette party. She got a ton of backlash about it. So there has not been any pictures of her anywhere at this wedding. And I mean, I think they were just sneaking her around and like trying to hide her because but my thing is like, if you have to hide and you feel like shame or you don't want people to see you, I don't understand. Like, just if you're going to be there, be there. You know what I mean? Face the music. or don't. I mean, like Oprah, you know what I mean?
Well, like Oprah is a great example. So
Yeah,
Oprah, listen, I have tremendous respect for what Oprah Winfrey's been able to accomplish for herself.
absolutely.
For
Absolutely.
herself. And she's been an icon and she's been around for 40 years. And listen, Oprah pulled herself up by the bootstraps from wherever the hell, Mississippi or wherever, sharecropper cabin she was born in. I mean, she's got an incredible story. But Oprah Winfrey has never apologized for foisting Dr. Oz on us,
Yeah, that's real.
Dr. Phil on us, who's been driving around with ICE agents arresting random people.
Yeah, for fun.
And for fun, just to be like, I'm here. And like, she's hanging out with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, and give me a break. Like, Meghan Markle, we could have a whole separate show about that. But I mean, like, why are we being subjected to these people? And then they wonder why
Right.
people are pissed off. Like, they wonder why you have candidates being elected in places like New York who are like, wait a second, maybe we should get rid of all billionaires.
Yeah. I mean, this is the real let them eat cake in real time. I mean, and listen, there's data to prove that the United States is in a wealth inequality status that is similar to pre-French Revolution, which we know what happened there. So when you have people who, are struggling to make ends meet, can't pay their health or medical bills, and all this is going on, by the way, while the Senate is voting to put this horrendous bill that's going to add trillions of dollars to the debt, is going to strip millions of people off their health care. And God knows, I mean, there's a whole list of horrible things in this bill that's going to be detrimental to the American public and the future of the country. But all of this is kind of going on in the background. And, the average person is looking at this and going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this is all the stuff that's being celebrated. I mean, look at like inside the White House, Donald Trump and his administration, all of the corruption that's going on with the gifts from Qatar and the meme coin and this, that, and the other. I mean, it's just, I don't know, Julie. Like it's something has to give. And all these people just keep getting richer and richer and richer and richer and richer. And like, I was reading that 1 out of 4 people in this BBB big bullshit bill is going to be kicked out of a nursing home, or 1 out of 4 nursing homes are going to close. And so, you know what I mean? It's, but here we are. And like, it's being foisted upon us, and like the corporate overlords of like CNN and like all these other, everyone's covering it. And I mean, and Jeff Bezos gave $1 million to Donald Trump for his inaugural fund. They all sat in the front row at the inauguration at the Capitol before senators, members of Congress, people who serve the government. These are the people who sat in the front row. These are the people who have the biggest influence on what happens to us. You know what I mean?
Gave the most money, right? Like, that's all there is to it. They're the ones who gave the most money to Trump and to Trump's super PACs and to Trump's other super PACs and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're there. And Lauren Sanchez was there as a plus. Nobody else's wife was there, but she was there as a plus.
Right.
And,
well, Mark Zuckerberg's wife too, but yeah.
Yeah. Was she sitting next to him? Okay.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But the whole thing to me is just so obscene and so gross.
Mm-hmm.
And for everybody who's like, well, what would you have done with the money if you had that kind of money? I'll tell you what I would have done. You don't have to ask me. Look at the first Mrs. Bezos. Look at Scott.
Right. How much money she's given away.
She did not have a prenup. She got, I think, 50% in settled.
Because they built that business together, essentially. Yeah.
And she has absolutely given it away over and over and over and over again, because of one of my 27 different jobs is I run a nonprofit, and I know who gives money away, because as a nonprofit, it's your business to know who gives money away in the hopes that you give them. And she does it in ways that you probably don't even know, because she's so unobtrusive about it. There's no huge announcement. It's like Melinda French Gates. started the Pivotal Foundation after her divorce. I think even prior to her divorce, but really is running with the Pivotal Foundation.
Hmm.
Has given tremendous amount of money away, and I don't think people even realize.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and there are people like that who
Hmm.
actually do really good stuff.
Yep.
And then you've got this Kardashian wannabe who hangs out on his yacht in her little big string
Yeah.
bikini.
Her $500 million yacht.
And I
Were
mean, again,
they? Yeah.
I don't begrudge it. Like, that's fine. But this whole sickening display that is being forced down her throat,
Yeah.
and her just blowing kisses to people as she's walking outside after the wedding, like they're her adoring public, where I don't think there was any adoring public.
Well, it's
And
like, it's like Donald Trump when he comes down the when he goes up the stairs or whatever, and he'll come out of a building and just like wave, but there's nobody there. And he just waves to nothing because he just, in case the camera is only pointed at him, it'll look like he's waving to, a crowd of his fans, but there's never anybody there. And I feel like this must be a thing that people do. I
I,
don't know.
I guess, I mean, listen, I can tell you, if you've ever seen footage of the Queen when she was still alive, or the royal family now, and they're waving in the balcony and they're going like this, they're not going blowing kisses like,
Right.
the
Right.
Marilyn Monroe. It's just, I don't know. It's just whatever.
Well,
It's
you know what it is? It at the end of the day, when people have this kind of money, it's the kind of money, it's the kind of wealth and power that we will never know. And they think that they are better than all of us. They think that they are a more quality specimen of human being than the rest of us. And I mean, Julie, you tell me, I don't know if you know, does Jeff Bezos give any of his money away? Does he do anything for
very,
anybody? I've
very,
never read anything about it.
very little. Like,
Yeah.
whatever probably takes to get a tax break on his tax return or something.
Right.
But I mean, not of any note. He's not Bill Gates, who, by the way, was also there. But Bill Gates,
Right. With
Bill
his new
Gates
girlfriend and everything.
truly,
Yeah.
Bill Gates truly. I mean, Bill Gates has
At least
probably
he does stuff. You know
no,
what
no,
I
no.
mean?
I'll say this about Bill and Melinda Gates,
Yeah.
and Bill Gates, now that he's single, have the two of them have probably saved more lives single handedly, aside from scientists who developed vaccines. They've
Right.
more than probably any people alive today. I mean, they truly have saved countless, especially in Africa, countless lives.
Yep.
Um, so no complaints about Bill Gates, no complaints about Warren Buffett. Same thing, giving away his money, doing a lot of stuff. But when it comes to Jeff Bezos, nothing.
Hmm.
Zuckerberg, nothing.
Right.
It's pretty, if they do it probably through their
Some like C3 or something
no,
somewhere
not
that's,
no C3 we'd know about. They do it probably.
yeah.
They probably have a DAF or something they do, but the point is, it's just depressing. And
Well,
I
it is
got
depressing. And these are bad people who have created nothing. I mean, that's the other part of this. Like Jeff Bezos, I mean, Amazon started as like selling books,
yep.
right? And so put a bunch of bookstores across the country out of business. And then it became bigger than books, and it was like books and music, and then it was just all the stuff now that everybody buys. He has not ever really created anything. He is the vessel. He's the messenger for
Yep.
all of this consumption around the world. And Mark Zuckerberg, as a sophomore at Harvard, made a website so that he could rank girls who he went to school with, whether they were hot or not, because he was mad that his girlfriend dumped him. Mark Zuckerberg is another one who has been hiding behind himself and who he truly is for a very long time. And just now, Kara Swisher talked about this the other day. This is who Mark Zuckerberg is. He's a bad guy. He's an asshole. Like, he's a real jackass. And, there's a really great book, the whistleblower book about Facebook that I recommend everybody read because it'll
Oh,
blow
yeah.
your mind. Careless People. It's fantastic. But like, that's the thing, is all these people, none of them have created anything that contributes to the world really in a positive way. I mean, I guess you could say maybe in the beginning, Facebook, there was maybe there was a possibility of maybe something positive coming out of it, but it's done nothing but rot everyone's brains and dismantle democracies around the world. I mean, these people suck. I'm
People
sorry.
suck. I, I kind of promised that we have a little preview. So Michelle and I are thinking about doing a show. You guys tell me what you think. Just about not about politics, because we do a lot of political stuff all the time. Just about like what it's like to be women here in 2025 with all the ancillary shit that all entails, right? So I am Gen Z, Gen X. Well, I wish I were Gen Z. Actually, I don't.
You know, it's funny. You did say that on our thing the other day. You're like, I'm Gen Z, and I was like, oh.
Oh no, I'm not Gen Z. Glad I'm not Gen Z because I'm Gen X, the awesome generation. Michelle is a millennial.
I'm an elder millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we really wanted to just talk about is like, and I'm sure people in the chat jump in if you're a boomer or you're one of us. Or
well, you know what? There's a beta thing on StreamYard. I've actually never tried it before because sometimes the trolls are terrible and they say horrible things. But you can do this thing now where you can show the comments on screen. And let me see if they come up. See, you can see them like on the screen.
Yep.
So I'm just going to see what that looks like. But anyways, let us know, like,
Yeah, let us know what you are. Because, like, I feel like we have very unique issues going on that nobody really talks about. Everybody's talking about the manosphere. Everybody's talking about the poor guys who are, being misunderstood because the women are coming for them and they can't get laid and so on and so forth. And by the way, I have empathy. If that's you, I'm sorry. That's your life. But I feel like nobody's really talking and has any empathy for all of us.
I know.
So I will start, Michelle, now that it is almost 7:30 here on the East Coast on a Sunday night. I am exhausted.
And I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
I am exhausted physically. I am exhausted emotionally. I am exhausted mentally. I am exhausted trying to make sure that my one child, and I don't know how many people have more than one. I don't even know how you deal with more than one, but my one child is like doing what he needs to do to become a productive member of society and live his best life. I am really tired of having to work several jobs, one of which is the one that earns me money sometimes, one of which is the love of my life, which is doing all of this, and Substack, which does not earn me that much money, or one of which is my nonprofit, which is truly my calling in life, also does not earn me that much money. So the reality is, like, I have about 27 things I'm juggling from work. Gotta make sure that my son does the right thing 24/7. Probably should be on top of him the way that I am, but I am. Tired of then having to like figure out what I'm making for dinner so that everybody likes it. And usually by the time I make dinner, I'm too tired to eat it. So I make it for everybody else because, as you can see, I am like skin and bones just from exhaustion.
I just want to say really quick, because I'm streaming this to my personal, or like my at Michelle Kinney Instagram, and Denver Riggleman just chimed in and said, "Keep rocking. Saw you pop up and two superstars here." So I just want to say, Denver, if you're still there, thank you so much.
We love you, Denver.
We love you. Yeah.
And like, I'm just wiped. I'm so wiped. The weekend comes and I get all excited. And then all I do is work all weekend or cook all weekend or like worry about what I have to do for the next week. And then like just tired. And now it's Sunday night and I'm thinking about Monday and I'm like, oh my God, it's Monday.
It's the Sunday Scaries. I mean, do you follow the Sunday Scaries on Instagram? It's like my favorite account. It's so funny. They're on Fridays, they do this whole thing and it's like, slams laptop till Monday. And it's a bunch of memes and things like that. And then Sunday, it's all about, how everyone's scared to go back to work. And that's the thing. And like in our line of business, we don't stop. I mean, I never stop. I mean, especially when I was at LP before, I mean, I was working like 80 something hours a week.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't, and I didn't want to stop because all of this just feels so important all the time that I'm like, if I'm not doing this, I don't know what else to do with myself. And maybe that's not healthy, but I don't know.
And then when I worked, so this goes back many, many, many decades, but when I was working at Fox, again, I was like the token Democrat there. And so nobody ever produced me, right? Like I had to
Right.
produce myself, which meant that I'd have to wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, check the news, and then your mind starts working. Well, if you're sitting on the couch and outnumbered, or you're sitting on the 5 and the other 4 people are yelling at you about this thing, how do you respond? If they say A, you have to say B, but if they say C, you have to say B. And like, I have not had a good night's sleep because of that in decades. I literally wake up in the middle of the night, check the news, the worst thing you could possibly do, because then your mind starts working, your mind
Oh, I
starts.
know. My therapist told me, she was like, do not, like, please, when you wake up in the morning, do not pick up your phone and start
Every,
reading the news. Like, please
everybody
take
tells
10
that.
minutes. And I do it anyways.
I do
I'm
it
just,
anyway. I do it in the middle of the night. I don't know if anybody
yeah.
else does either. And you know, like I gotta believe there's other women out there who are dealing with this stuff, right? And then we get to my parents who are getting older, and knock on wood, or whatever this desk is made of. I'm not sure if it's real wood. And it is
Particle board.
particle board. Actually, my son's room right now, which is why you could probably see a little TV with God knows what.
Yeah. It looks like a baseball game or something.
Yeah. But like have to think about them and their health. And I'm an only child, so I'm like, oh shit, if something happens to them, I have to like. It's.
I know. Listen, I mean, I'm for
really
lack of a.
hard.
I mean, I have a sibling, but I'm estranged from her, as when my parents are too. So I haven't seen my sister in 12 years. Haven't talked to her in 12 years. And she lives near my parents. My parents are getting older too, and it's just me. I don't have kids. But you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm going to be 43 tomorrow. So,
We're gonna do something
thank you.
special for Michelle tomorrow. I haven't figured out what.
Oh, no,
Good.
you're very sweet. No,
Yeah.
it's, I'm always just, I always like to celebrate the birthday, because I'm like, listen, I'm very glad to be here. The
Yeah,
alternative would be really shitty.
of course.
So I always feel like, because people are like, oh, I don't want to make a big deal out of my birthday. Well, you don't have to make a big deal, but I think it's good to acknowledge it. But
Yeah.
anyways, I mean, a lot of my friends have kids. We don't. So it's also very hard to be a 40-something-year-old woman, professional, working in politics, and living in New York City. And all my friends are leaving New York, or they're moving to Brooklyn, which you may as well be in Philadelphia, from where I live.
It's actually hard to get to Philadelphia from where we live. But yeah, Michelle and I don't live too far from each other, but we live in a part of town that is as Brooklyn unadjacent as possible.
Yeah. I mean, one of my best friends had a birthday party last weekend in Prospect Heights, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, only for the A-listers will I go to Brooklyn. But it's hard to maintain those relationships, as you get older and everyone breaks off and has kids and you don't. And it's like, what do you have to talk about anymore? It's like you really have to, work on that in a different kind of way, and you feel alienated. I mean, we went to the new Davis Center pool. So if anybody knows New York City, if you live here, if you used to live here, if you know the landscape, Central Park, on the top part, the north part of Central Park, is called the North Woods. And then there's an area there where there's like a ice rink and a pool. And they just renovated the entire thing with like millions of dollars. It's huge, huge thing. And they just opened the pool on Friday. And so my husband and I were like, let's walk over. So we went over there. The line was wrapped up around the pool, through the part of the North Woods, and like up a hill, because the capacity is 1,600 people in this pool. That's how like massive it is. We waited in line for 45 minutes, got halfway through the line, and then there was an announcement that they were going to have to shut down the pool because some kid puked in the pool and they had to sanitize it. And I looked at Joe and I was like, we're leaving. I was like, so there's some days that I'm like, oh, kids, man. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. All these kids running around, pooping or puking in the pool. I was like, I can't do this.
Oh my God.
But I mean, I have to go during a weekday or something when all these
you got to come to my house.
Children.
You got to
I
come.
know, I know.
You
But
got to
I
put.
mean, I say all that to say because, like, my friends that all have kids are like doing that as parents. They're not going for themselves really to enjoy themselves like we are. So again, it's just like a totally, different lived experience, like being a person, married without kids. It's like as a woman, especially. And then you're hearing like that from the right wing all the time that, you're useless if you're not you're a miserable woman, you're a miserable cat lady. And I'm like, no, I'm not miserable. I'm
I mean,
pretty happy. It's
can
pretty
I tell
good.
you, like, when did having kids become a requirement? Because I got to be honest. I
Mm.
have had friends who had kids because they were 30 and they were marrying the guy that they happened to be dating when they were 30 because it was time to get married because
Yeah.
obviously the clock was ticking. Then they have kids. And my attitude is unless you really, really, really have given thought to having kids, you shouldn't have kids. Like,
Yeah. It's
don't
like
just
there's
have,
that
like,
line in Eat, Pray, Love that at least it's in the movie. And
right.
Viola Davis says she's like having a baby is like getting a tattoo on your face. You better
Yeah.
be sure. You better be committed. You know what I mean?
And there's so many people who just have kids just for the sake of having kids because you're supposed to check the box. And like, you
Mhm.
shouldn't have kids. Like, this is my 2 cents. Maybe people disagree. You shouldn't have kids unless you are 1 billion% committed to having kids
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
everybody tells you how hard it is. And everybody's like, you'll never get any sleep. You'll never get any rest. You'll never get whatever.
Mhm.
The reality is, like, they don't even know how right they are. It's
Yeah.
fucking exhausting. Sorry, Dad, if you are watching.
And I
Um,
just want to say to Patricia here, and if you're single without kids, you're even more
what are
stigmatized.
you
That is absolutely
saying
true.
about?
But it's true. Like the way that people pity. I mean, seriously, I watch some of my single friends go through this. They show up at parties or like weddings and functions like that. And people kind of look at them with pity. But I know that deep down it's envy because I mean, single, unmarried women without children, I mean, statistically are the happiest people in the world. And it's, which
Uh,
is great in this
if
day and age,
if
obviously.
I didn't have kids, I would be on a plane every week to a different part of the world. Like literally, like you just think of all the stuff you get to do. You get to travel, you get to not spend money, like you get to spend your money as opposed to saving it for your kids, like all
Yeah.
of this. And like just the money alone, my God. Like it's really expensive to have kids.
Yeah.
And I
See, and
don't
then this too, my dream came true when I had my son. Like
know what?
amazing.
Mine too. So Ursula,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, like I was 39, I was 38 actually, and I had my son and I had him by myself because I was basically told it's now or never, you got to get pregnant. And I was like, shit, have, I wasn't even dating anybody at the time. So I actually did it through a donor. I used a donor to have a baby. And so
Hmm.
I'm what they call a single mother by choice. And then I got married years and years and years later. But for a long time, it was just him, it was just my son and me. And I got to tell you, like, my dream absolutely came true when I had him because I always said to myself from day one, I don't care if I ever get married,
Hmm.
but I definitely want to have a kid. Like, I always knew I wanted to have
Some
a kid.
people just know.
Some people just know. Like, and I also
Yeah.
knew, strangely, I also knew that I would have a boy. Like, and I know that if I ever got pregnant 20 times, they would all be boys. I don't know how I knew. Like, I know that I'm just a boy mom and I would always have boys. Um, but I waited until I was really much older, almost 40, to have him. And like, it's really, especially if you're a single mom, it is really
Yeah.
tough. Like, I am fortunate that I had my mom to come and stay with us during the week
Oh, that's nice.
to help. But then she would go home on weekends, and then it would just be me and a baby by myself, and nobody helping,
Mm.
and nobody changing the diaper but me, nobody getting up in the middle of the night but me, nobody doing any of that. And it's really tough. So, like, I say that as somebody who did it, and am even more committed to saying, unless you really in your bones know this is the right thing to do, don't do it. I truly
Yeah.
don't do it because not for yourself, for the kid.
Mm.
Really
So many
prepare.
people have kids who shouldn't too. You know what
How
I
many
mean?
people have
There's a
kids?
whole lot of that.
How many people have kids? Like I remember coming home with him from the hospital and being like, "Holy shit! How did they just allow me to take a child home? Like what just happened?" Um, and I had this very out of body experience yesterday too because my best friend, who has been my friend since the 8th grade, she came over. And she came over. She has a son who's 4 years younger than mine, so he's 9 and mine is 13. And we're sitting there watching the two of them play, and we both had this out of body experience. We're like, how did we get old enough to have children that we're responsible for. Like, what just happened?
Who let us do this?
Like,
Right.
we were in 8th grade running around a swimming pool, and now here
Right.
are our kids running around a swimming pool. And
Yeah.
we just could not, we were like, what? At which point are you like, how did that happen? Like,
Yeah. Well, especially as women too, because I feel like I remember in my 20s, like I'd go to the doctor and, you get your physical and they're like, is there any chance you could be pregnant? I'd be like, no. You know what I mean? I was like, ew, no. And
yeah.
then all of a sudden, like time goes by and then they ask you that and you're like, oh, hmm,
Mm.
I I'm getting older, aren't I? And like it's like this, the time that goes by that you have, especially as a woman to make that decision, it
Yep.
sucks. You know, you don't have all the time in the
You
world.
don't have all the time in the world at all.
Mm-mm.
And that's also really terrifying
Yeah.
and scary because obviously, thank you, sunshine.
Yeah.
But because guys have all the time in the world. I mean, they really do.
Yeah.
They may not have the desire, but they have
Yeah.
the ability.
Mm-hmm.
And um, and by the way, IROL, some married mothers have
Mm.
to still do it all too. Unfortunately, not
Well,
all.
yeah, there's that too.
100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, let me just say this as somebody who has an incredible, incredible, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it because everybody's like, ugh, gag, but I do have an incredible marriage. I have an incredible husband. He's the best. I have no complaints. But I do work a lot harder since we got married. In
Yeah.
that I still have to make dinner for him and I still have to do the childcare stuff, but now I have to cook for 2 or for 3.
Yeah. They
And now,
say that like working moms still do 70% of the domestic labor,
yeah, yeah,
which is like mind blowing. I mean,
yeah.
hopefully with generations, that'll get better. But I think there's just like this, and also we often take it on ourselves too. You know what I mean?
It's
I
not
think.
it's
Yeah.
not that I think he's like, go make me dinner, woman. It's
Right,
like
right, right,
he just
right.
has no idea how to cook. Like he wouldn't even know how to turn
And
on
there's
stove. So
and
like,
there's that.
you know what it is. Um, so my attitude about this is I think there's so much judgment from people, and the reality is like this whole crazy notion of like we have to repopulate this Elon Musk nonsense. I'm
Mm, oh my
so sorry.
gosh.
I'm so
Heidi, I'm so sorry. I
oh,
know Heidi's is always with us. I mean, you're
yeah.
here for almost every show. I always see you. So I'm
Oh,
so sorry to hear that. But
um,
I hope your son's doing all right.
I hope he's okay, and I hope he's grown up. I don't know. Is he?
I
Let
don't
us know.
know.
Is he grown up? How old's your son now?
Yeah.
Because like that's crazy. What is my go-to meal to cook? So I'm going to tell you. It's this Martha Stewart stew recipe, and it's really good. And all I can tell you is it is the easiest thing in the world to do because you throw it all in a pot, and then you throw the pot in the oven, and then 2.5 hours later, you have this delicious stew. And it's super easy. And if I can find the recipe, I will post it here. If not, I will post it somewhere, maybe on my Blue Sky. But it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good, and it's easy. That's why I like it so much. But I have a lot. I have a lot. But it's just more the imagination of like, oh, now I have to go to the store. I have to like buy this, and then of course you get home, you're like, oh, I forgot to do that, and I have to go back outside and get it,
Hmm.
or you have to like literally physically go there. Because I'm over Instacart because they don't ever get the right produce for me. So um, I know. Anyway, I could talk about that all day. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Imagine the establishment had to pay moms for all the jobs that we do.
I know.
Crazy,
One
crazy.
pot meals. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, well, those are the best.
Heidi says he's grown. Her son is
Good.
grown.
Happy to hear
That's
that.
good.
But it's just hard, and I think that's what
Yeah.
we wanted to see if there was an appetite for anybody to do a show. But this isn't even a show that we want to kind of get going. We kind
Yeah.
of get a community of people
Yeah.
going who kind of feel maybe the same way or have different experiences, but nobody ever talks to them about their experiences.
Yeah.
Michelle and I were talking about this, and I said I don't mind being open about.
Yeah. To an extent. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about our sex lives because my parents
Right.
wanted to hear that, but right, neither does my son.
Well, you
But
know what's funny, Julie? As you were just talking with the food, the New York Times cooking app just popped up with a notification on my phone that said 21 recipes for hard times. During a divorce, illness, or a big move, a lovingly prepared meal can bring some much needed comfort and nourishment for a friend or neighbor. Like, isn't
Oh,
that so nice?
that's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. But I got to tell you, man, I'm in the Me Too space. I'm in the space of helping women in my nonprofit work, and at some point, somebody's gonna have to like figure out how to do this, unless you have a professional cook
Hmm.
who can be home like a chef, basically a professional chef cooking for you, picking up your kids from school and like getting them places. It's just really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I love to cook, and I can confidently say I'm a very, very good cook. And
Yeah.
my mom's a good cook, and my grandma was a pretty good cook from what I can remember, except for the fact that she used to put turnips in the mashed potatoes, and I feel like people did not like that.
I like
But
turnips. I think turnips are yummy.
yeah,
Yep.
I just remember my dad being like, ugh. But otherwise, she had like made great pies and stuff. So, I feel like I just learned from just it being around me and just being, and I grew up around so many Italian people, and everybody was cooking sauce and meatballs and all kinds of stuff. So I was just around that all the time. But yeah, I cook all the time. I love it. Just sometimes it's like it becomes a chore after a while. You're like, I can't make any more things. Oh my God. But like tonight we had ground turkey um, crunch wraps. Like
Ooh.
the crunch wraps from Taco Bell. Like I
Yeah.
make them, but with like the high protein wraps and
Yum.
stuff, the burritos. Oh, it's so good. And
Oh,
it's
it's
like
so good.
loaded with protein, and it's like better for you because it has taco or
By
the
the
turkey
way,
taco meat. What's
you
that?
you turned my husband on to lime salt because I ordered it for him, and now he's like all about the burrito. He's all into it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Guys, if you know lime salt, it's like part of this Wonder like cafeteria chain thing, which I think Bobby Flay is a part of or something like that. There's this Mexican restaurant like takeout thing. It's called Lime Salt. It's so good. I am obsessed with it. Everything is fresh and delicious, and it's I have an issue. I have a problem. I actually had to like physically stop myself from ordering it. I was like, no, Michelle, buy groceries and make food at home. It is way cheaper. Stop.
I gotta. I can't. I don't remember the last time I cooked. I've been completely negligent in making anything for my family the last few weeks, but I gotta like get back to it.
See,
But I
this
guess
is funny. See how it all comes back to politics, Robert.
I know.
Tacos have a bad rep right now, 86
I
votes.
know. I know. I know.
Ah,
I don't know. Is
so
lime salt? Do they have that outside New York? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. Let me
Yeah,
look it up. Lime salt.
BKG. Where are you? Because I don't know. That may just be a New York thing. I'm not sure. But
No.
Elizabeth Wilson, 4 girls in a row. Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh. God bless.
Nice. Ugh.
Lime salt mix.
My husband is one of 6 boys.
Mm,
Do you imagine his mom probably kept
no.
trying for a girl, ended up with 6 boys. I
Well,
know.
yeah, I mean, he's Catholic too, right? I mean, that's kind of it. Like, I feel like my husband's families, like both sides are Catholic, and they just have a million aunts and uncles. That's why like we had such a huge wedding, is because speaking of weddings, I had 250 people at my wedding, because we were like, we're either gonna have to elope and have like 5 people come to our wedding, or we're going to have to do this. And because there's nothing in between, because people are going to get mad if we don't invite. So it was 100 people with just cousins and aunts and uncles.
Oh my God.
That was it. It was 100 people of that just on Joe's side of the family. I was like, and I have 4 cousins. I have one sister who didn't come, and my parents. And it's just like,
Wow. So
and so, yeah,
we did the opposite. I wanted to just go to City Hall and just sign a piece of paper and be done with it. But again, I'm an only child, so
yeah,
I never. So here's my wedding. You want to know how much I don't care about
pretty
weddings?
much.
I legitimately never had the fantasy of having a wedding dress. Didn't care about.
Yeah, I
And
never thought about that stuff either when I was a kid.
so I said to my husband, okay, I will agree to a wedding because you have a lot of brothers. So we obviously can't go to City Hall because City Hall in New York, I think you could only bring like 4 people with you.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, we will do it, but only if we don't ruin somebody's summer weekend. So it has to be during a weekday, and it has to be in the middle of the day so that we give people an excuse to say, oh, I can't come because I have I don't know, whatever, something for work. We did it on a Thursday in June at the Empire Hotel, which is down not too far from my house.
Yeah. I
I was
love
like,
the Empire.
yeah, it's basically, if anybody here watched Gossip Girl, it was Chuck Bass's Chuck Bass's hotel. It's right across from Lincoln Center in New York. So we did it at the Empire. It was like 1,000 degrees outside. So we moved it indoors at the last minute, so not to kill some elderly people. And I bought a dress because I was like, what does one wear to a lunch wedding when you're the bride? You don't want to look stupid, because I literally told everybody, show up in jeans and a t-shirt or wearing. Do you know the Real Real?
Yeah.
All right. So the
It's
Real
like
Real,
consignment. It's consignment. Like nice. Yeah.
I love the Real Real. So I went on the Real Real and I found this dress from Tom Ford on the Real Real, which in real life, I think retails for like $5,000, that I got for like $400.
Nice.
And it's a short, it was a sleeveless white, like cocktail, not even like a cocktail dress.
Yeah.
Definitely can wear to any summer party again, because I specifically wanted a dress that I could rewear. And I got it, and then I kind of became, and then I got kind of really busy. I never tried it on. And then the morning of my wedding, it's still sitting there in the wrap thingy. And I was oh my God, I gotta try this on.
Oh my God.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna just wait till I get to the hotel to try it on, because I don't want to walk in this kind of white dress down the streets of New York. So I did not try on this dress until I got to this hotel. But the best part is, that morning I had to do CNN. And I was like, great, they're going to do my hair and makeup for me. I don't have to even worry about getting a blowout. So I go to CNN, don't even tell anybody I'm getting married later that day. They do my usual hair and makeup. I'm like, okay, segment's over. In the car, I'm like, got to go back to the house, get the dress to go to the hotel. And they call me as I'm halfway back to my house, CNN, and they're like, one of our guests just bailed. Do you mind coming back and doing another hit? I was like, sure.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
So I go back, I do another hit, and then I don't know, this is a thin person's attitude, because I haven't gotten to the best part of the story. I get to the hotel, I take out the dress, and the dress was the size that I would normally wear, except I forgot that Tom Ford is couture, which means that it's probably 3 times smaller than a normal.
Right. It's like teeny tiny.
So I'm trying to fit into this dress. And my friend is trying to zip me up in it. And I'm like, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, I guess I just wear the sweatpants that I'm in right now.
Oh my gosh. This is how you are, Julie. This is how you are. I don't understand. I'm like, it's fine.
I wasn't stressing it. I was like, if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, like, I think I was literally.
I've seen a picture of you in the dress. So yeah,
it's a pretty dress. I have it. It's in the closet right across from where I'm sitting right now. I can prop it out. It was fine. I fit it in. I fit into it. But it was
I want to say, casual observer had said this is a thin girl's attitude. I, in the last year, have lost a lot of weight, like a lot of weight. And so I fully understand this. And like, trying to get into anything is the most stressful thing. Shopping is the most stressful thing. Shopping for jeans is the most depressing thing in the entire world. But so I totally understand this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, like, I'm much smaller now than I was a year ago, but yeah, I mean, Julie, I was like, I would have been stressed out, so stressed out. I would have tried it on the very, very first thing.
I would say this. Let me just fill out of my mic. I have no idea what it is. So hopefully, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would say, I have been thin and I have been not so thin. So it really depends on those fluctuations in life. And I would say during COVID, I was eating non-stop.
Yeah, I think we all were.
I was 40 pounds heavier than I am right now, which was exactly the weight that I was when I gave birth to my son.
Yeah.
So I just say that to say, like, I have been thin and I have been not so thin. And when it came to my wedding, I don't care if I was thin or not thin. If I didn't fit into that dress, whether that dress was a size 0 or a size 25, I still would have done it in my sweatpants. Like, I just didn't. This is less about, I think it's less about weight than it is about how little I cared about what I looked like.
And which is nice, actually.
Yeah. So I actually just didn't care. I legitimately didn't care. And like my husband didn't care. I didn't care. We both were like, whatever. Doesn't matter. Casual observer,
Yes.
I will tell you this. Can we talk about menopausal weight gain? Can we talk about that? I'm actually going to talk about that. If there are any men here who don't want to hear about it, I'm sorry, but we could talk about this. So COVID coincided with
Mm,
that era of my life. And so I gained all this weight and I was eating nonstop. And I think I had like 2 pairs of pants because I couldn't fit into anything.
hmm
And it was really bad. It was really, really awful. But now that it's over, I could not be happier. I
mm.
love it. I
I
love
hear that. I hear that. People are like, oh, once it's over, you're like, oh my God, now I'm a person, you know?
like I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool with menopause. Love it.
hmm I mean,
Could
some people don't have that kind of experience. Some people have a really bad experience, but I think it,
yeah,
just depends on the person and, different set of struggles and side effects and things like that,
yeah.
right?
Now that I'm done with it, it's great. Yes, I have to say I did not have a difficult time. Some people I know are like
Mm.
dying and mood swings and
I'd be
uh,
very interested to hear this. This is Lois is saying, I listened to a podcast, Nicole Wallace, and they mentioned fascism and menopause. Can't tell what is causing which awful feeling. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what? Now that I think about it, it all came together. First, COVID, menopause started around COVID, and then
hmm
Trump came along. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
it's been a tough couple years. I don't know what
yeah.
to say.
Like legit. I mean, I have PCOS and I have a crappy thyroid, so that's like over time, like that's how I started to gain more weight and I was having a hard time like I'm worked out all the time. I could not lose it.
Yeah,
And then during COVID, I mean like I wasn't moving. I wasn't leaving. I mean, especially in New York City, you can't
yeah,
just go outside
yeah,
and walk around. Like you had to go outside in a mask, stay away from people, try to like be 6 feet from. I mean, it was so stressful that I just like never left my apartment. And
yeah.
so, I gained even more weight and it was just like, oh my God. But finally I have it under control now. And that's why how I was able to lose all this weight. But like, oh my God, like COVID was terrible. Between that and like the snacking and the wine, the lack of movement, the depression, it was the
Oh,
2020 election. I mean, like I had just started working at the Lincoln Project in like June of 2020 and I was just, I was all up in it every single day. So it was rough. It was rough.
I got COVID like in the
Oh,
very
early on, right?
early on, like in the very first wave. Like I think
Like
COVID
March?
was March of 20.
Mm.
I know exactly where I got it. I got it on the subway. I could almost tell you exactly who coughed on me. But I was riding the subway to work every day and seriously got it. And I was so sick. And I
Mm.
crawled, practically crawled to City MD, which is a urgent care
Mhm.
here in New York, which is not like a block from my house. And it took me, I think, 20 minutes to just walk there.
Yeah.
It was so just tough. And I get there, and the doctor goes, "What are your symptoms?" And I told him what my symptoms were. And he asked how old I was. And I think at the time I was late 40s, whatever it was. It's 47, I think.
Mhm.
And he said to me, "Are you," he said, "You probably have COVID, but we're not going to waste a test on you because we don't have any tests. And so, therefore, we are going to, I'm going to recommend you just go home. And unless you are truly at the point where you are, feel like you're going to die, do not go to the hospital.
Mm.
Because if you do, you will die. Because this is in New York. Remember, the hospitals, people are literally
Right,
dying.
right.
We had the
Flatten the
outbreak
curve, flatten the curve. That
on
was
the
the whole
curve.
thing. Right.
So after 2 weeks, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I went outside and my husband started taking me for walks. I was like this old lady, like started like propping me up by the elbow.
No,
Took
but
me, took
it's
me to walks.
real.
Took me for walks in Central Park. And what's so weird about that time is then because I had whatever it was called, like the plasma, or remember the convalescent plasma,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Mount
remember that.
Mount Sinai, which is a hospital on the northern, in, on the basically on the east side of Manhattan, in the
Mhm.
northern part of Manhattan.
Mm.
Um,
I know about this. Yeah,
yeah,
this is
where
terrible.
they were
The
doing,
refrigerator trucks. I mean,
yeah, they were doing
the thing.
convalescent plasma. So they asked me to give blood because they wanted to study it for basically for a vaccine. So I was like, sure, okay. So I started walking across the park up to, I think it's like 102nd and 5th or wherever they were.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Walk,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you'd walk by
The field hospital.
the
Yeah.
field hospital,
Yeah.
and it was so surreal because I was like,
Yeah.
we're in the most affluent city in the most affluent country in history,
Mm-hmm.
and there are literally field hospitals outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. It's
Crazy.
because I walk over there all the time because I love to go to the garden and stuff
Mhm.
on the
Oh,
east
that
side,
garden's beautiful, yeah.
and it's gorgeous. And people don't know about it. So if you're visiting New York, go to Uptown Central Park on the east side. There's beautiful gardens. Anyways, and yeah, every time we walk through that area, I was like, can you even believe that there was a field hospital here and people were coming? And remember, they had the ship; they were going to have people on that
They
cruise
did
ship or
have that.
something.
Cuomo
But
did
then,
ship, I
yeah,
heard.
he and that's the thing about Cuomo too. That's like people are like, well, he was good during COVID, and I'm like,
No, he wasn't.
he wasn't. I mean, it felt like he was at the time because remember, Donald Trump wasn't doing anything, and he was like, it's totally under control. It'll be gone by Easter. Let the people in the blue states die.
Yeah,
That was the whole thing. Is like, just let them die. We don't care. And so Andrew Cuomo was the only one who was talking, and he was giving those daily briefings in the morning. And like, listen, I tuned into every single one of them. I watched them because we were like in New York City. We were all. This is the thing. I feel like having this conversation with people who don't live here or in other parts of the country and just were kind of like whatever about COVID. I'm like, no, 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 no. All of a sudden, people started dropping like flies. Like
yeah.
my neighbors, like there was a one guy I knew from West Side Dems died. I'd seen him the week before and then
Yeah.
he died. Um, Another neighbor of ours died. Somebody I knew who was close to my age, he got it early on, flying back and forth to Los Angeles. Um, and he got very sick, was in a coma, and then died a couple months later. I mean, and that's the thing is like we knew people who were on ventilators, we knew people who like young people. And then, older people that we knew from just politics or in our community like passed away, and a lot of them. And like thousands of people were dying. Like there at one point there was 1,000 people dying a day in New York, which is just if you think about that, is
Insane.
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 And trying to get a young Broadway actor died. That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Nick Cordero. He was
Did
he
you
was
know
on
him?
I mean, uh, yes and no. He was on the Rock of Ages tour with my ex-boyfriend who I was dating at the time. And so I spent a lot of time with them on that tour and with Nick, but I didn't like stay in touch with him like after that, but I did like I knew him from that. He was a very nice guy, very very talented Canadian guy, and it's tragic. It's tragic what happened to him. And that's the thing is like the Broadway community too, because everybody that works in these theaters in New York, like all the theaters are very, very old. There's not very good air circulation or anything like that. And same if you're in the audience. The audience is like, you're packed in there like sardines. And so there is, if there's one person in that theater who had it, you, you know, if you were
Yeah.
sitting anywhere near them, you were getting it. So there was this one usher that apparently had it, and all
Yeah.
these people were getting it. Like almost the entire cast of Moulin Rouge got it. I mean, I had a friend who's a dancer, a young dancer who now has heart problems. So it's it was really traumatizing. And I remember like we didn't know what was going to happen next. We didn't know like, oh my God, was I already exposed to it? Like, what's going to happen? Am I going to be next? And what if I die? And we all had those little,
It's
the
so
oximeters to like, for our oxygen. I mean, it was crazy.
it's also weird because as I said, I got it early.
Mm-hmm.
My husband did not. We didn't like segregate. He continued to share a room, continued to share a bed.
Yeah.
He never got it. I coughed on him.
What?
I coughed on him for 2 weeks straight. He never got it.
Well, at least maybe he was asymptomatic but
No,
he
he kept getting tested, never got it. He finally got it like 2 years later, 3 years
What?
later. Isn't that crazy? Never got it.
That's crazy.
He describes it to the fact that he goes running every day. He has this crazy. Do you know about a streak? Did I ever tell you about a streak?
Yeah.
He's got this.
Yeah.
So my husband has this crazy streak where for over 30 years he has never missed a day of running. He has run through broken ribs, he has run through like sprained ankles, he has run through COVID, he has run through the flu, and he literally has never, ever, 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 ever once missed a day, including when we were in Tel Aviv
Right.
last.
You were saying that he was running
And
in
there were
Tel Aviv.
missiles, ballistic missiles above, and I was like, maybe you could skip a day. He's like, no. And he goes literally running in the middle. I'm like, you're literally going running as ballistic missiles.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So yeah. And by the way, Aaron, you're so right. God help us, because at least we had Anthony Fauci.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we have RFK Jr.,
Yeah.
who does
A
not believe in
quack.
vaccines.
A quack.
Worse than a
Who-
quack.
Well, he's a quack that is mentally ill and also corrupt and has vested interest in all of this like natural healing quackery. He makes money off of it. And so there's all listen, the whole thing is insane. I'm God help us. God help us.
I know.
Yeah, and the band played on. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My husband ran with Forrest Gump. Probably.
Wait, what?
My husband ran with Forrest Gump. Probably. He is Forrest Gump. Except he's never stopped, but not that way, but he's never stopped running.
He has brain worms.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, and to bring it back to, again, like, look how a million people in the United States died and counting, because people are still dying from COVID. And you look at somebody like Jeff Bezos, right? These people who are supporting this man who's not only doing all this fascist stuff, dismantling democracy, but also putting all of us in danger by dismantling all of our public health. For what? That's my thing. It's like, I mean, that the simplest answer is they want us all to die or be sick or disabled.
Well, if you study authoritarianism, the worse off you are, the easier it is for them to come in.
Listen, this is why they're trying to set up one of these network states in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why. Like, these are people in this specific area. It's like underserved. These people aren't gonna, have the means to fight back. These people are like, it's really evil. Really evil stuff. Did you see? Oh my gosh! By the way, I should pull it for our show on Wednesday. This interview with Peter Thiel on 60 Minutes. Did you see this?
No, I heard about it. I didn't see it.
Ooh, y'all. Okay. If in the chat, I don't have the video, go find it. It is crazy. This is not the first time that Peter Thiel has done an interview. This is why he doesn't do press. This is why he doesn't do media. Not only is he like weird and he looks like he's dying, he can't answer any questions. And he was on Piers Morgan or something. This was like a year or something ago. And he's like, and he was the same thing on 60 Minutes. And I think somebody asked him, like, do you want to save the human race? If it was, and he was just like, oh, I don't. Like, he had to think about it. And really, ultimately, the answer was not yes.
What? I have to say.
It's the Mountainhead. Yes. You should, if you haven't seen this, go watch it. Mountainhead. It's a movie, fictional, but based on, the tech oligarchs. Steve Carell's in it. It's very good. It's the same writer as Succession. Very good.
Speaking of the Mountainhead / the Fountainhead, you had these 15-year-old kids who were always into the Fountainhead when they read it and discovered it in school. And they all grew up and realized what a bunch of bullshit it is.
Yeah.
But not this crew.
Yeah. They're like kind of like Lord of the Rings, like dorkies though, too, which is very strange to me. There's something very weird about them. And they're also losers. That's the other part. They just happen to be very rich.
It's Revenge of the Nerds, right? Like, it's people who are like 8. First of all, there's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum at all. I know plenty of people who are, they're lovely, but they are all missing an empathy gene.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all missing some sort of like human gene. I don't know how to describe it, but like empathy for your fellow human beings. Like, this is kind of related, but not sort of related. Mm-hmm. There is a dorm that is down the street from where I live. And during the Biden years, it was turned into a shelter for undocumented immigrants, mostly for women and children. And there were these little boys that would be hanging out on the stoop outside of my building and they would always watch my son and me walk to school. And I knew exactly what they were looking at. They were looking at my
Mm.
son's Nikes, and they were looking at them with such yearning and such just like love. Like they just want, like they
Yeah,
would have done anything for a pair of little boy Nikes. And it would break my heart. I can't stop thinking about them.
I know. Well,
And
because you were one of them.
I was one of them. And then one day they were gone. And
Mm.
I walked by that building and it's back to being a dorm, and they've repainted the whole thing, and there's no sign that these kids ever lived there or these families were ever there.
Mm.
And Michelle, I'm about to cry talking about it. I can't stop thinking about where those kids are today, if they're
Mm.
separated from their moms, where those moms are, where they're sending them, what is going on with them, because those little boys and girls who are so cute, but I just keep thinking about the boys because they're my son's age.
Yeah.
Um, and the girls too. The girls were always skipping down the street and playing hopscotch. Like, I just don't understand who these Peter Thiels and
Mm.
Donald Trumps and Elon Musks and people are who are just so insensitive to other human beings.
Yeah.
Like what?
And feel nothing.
And feel nothing.
And feel nothing. That's the thing. And in fact, are, investing in their demise on purpose
Yeah.
and trying to speed it up. I mean, this is the whole thing about, sociopaths don't have empathy. None.
You're absolutely right. But I mean, how do we not think about our fellow human beings as human? Like how do you put people in the middle? And I know it sounds kind of Pollyannish and naive, but I truly mean this. How do you put people in something called alligator, whatever it's called in Florida?
Alcatraz.
Alligator
They broke
Alcatraz.
ground on protected land in the Everglades, first of all. And then on top of it, I mean, but do you remember when Miles Taylor was telling people about how Donald Trump wanted to make a moat
Yes.
around the White House and put
Yes.
snakes and alligators and shit in it?
Around
Like,
the
this
border of
is,
the White House.
or was it the border or was it the White House? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter either way. And then he wanted to put the spikes on the wall so that if people were trying to climb over the wall, they would impale themselves.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that he was just thinking about.
And the part that I
It's
guess,
sick.
and we talked about this before, but like, it's not a far stretch from that to just completely
Mm-hmm.
like a genocide.
Yep.
Like, it's not, this is how the Holocaust begins.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Nope. Me
And,
neither.
and I was thinking about it when I was over in Israel and these missiles were kind of falling overhead. And I was thinking there are kids in Gaza who live with this every single
day.
Except they don't have any shelters to run to, and they don't have any, and they're just entire families that are wiped out, and
Mhm.
entire neighborhoods that are wiped out, and people just have no sympathy or empathy, right? They're just like, well, it's war and blah blah blah, but like, why don't we just stop and think about the fact that this is just happening?
Yeah, I know.
Happening.
I know.
And I just don't understand how we ended up in this country with leaders who are just doing this, including this bill that they're just voting on, like Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins.
Oh my God, Lisa Murkowski, first of
got
all. And
bribed
like,
in Alaska and got
right. I
slapped,
know,
yeah.
I know we're going late here, but I have to give her a moment that she had them carve out exemptions for Alaskans so that her constituents would be taken care of, so that she wouldn't lose power. Let's be clear here. I don't think it's because she really particularly cared that much about what was happening to people. I think it was more about the fact that she's a Nepo baby and she doesn't know what else to do with her life except for be senator of Alaska. And she couldn't imagine her life without it. So this is what she did. And the hell with the rest of the country. Alaska's okay. And
the parliamentarian said no, which I think is hilarious. But
yeah,
well, they'll fire the parliamentarian. They've done it before,
right?
But
and Tom Tillis is
and Tom Tillis is out, which means that Lara Trump is in. Guess who's running for Senate? I bet you she's going to do it. But look,
ultimately, she's from North Carolina, right?
She is, yeah.
Ugh.
She tried to run in Florida.
Ugh.
Um, but effectively, that's what we're talking about here. That
Yeah.
you had healthcare providers in Louisiana begging the Speaker of the House from Louisiana not to pass this bill, saying it is going to shut down hospitals in your district. People in the state are going to die. To him, to Bill
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy, the senator from Louisiana, to Steve Scalise, who's in leadership,
Mm-hmm.
from Louisiana, they don't care. They just don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. These people like, and that's the thing, like they legitimately don't care.
Yeah, they just don't care.
And that's where, like, I mean, to bring it back to this, the Bezos wedding and everything, is that, you know, I never want to be too specific because this is a person that I do still care a great deal about, but there's someone very close to me that I felt shared my values and the things that matter the most to me in this world. But this person's proximity to, extreme wealth and power, I think allowed a path to normalize Donald Trump, if not celebrate his inauguration. And these were things that I couldn't believe that we would have conversations about things that matter to us and the things that were disgusting to us and seemed unimaginable could be happening in America, and then celebrate Donald Trump's inauguration. Like these are just I couldn't, and so that really was the end of, it was the beginning of the end of my relationship with this person. And it's very sad because the thing is, with this amount of wealth
Yeah.
and this amount of power, it doesn't matter because it's all about the power, the money, the status first, and its values second. And that's what it is. And it sounds cliche, but it is true. And the only way I can think of it is Succession. Like if you watch the show Succession, how like Shaban, the sister, was like, the Democrat who did, she was a consultant. She was like what Julie does. This is what she went and worked for candidates and things like that. And then her brother was this like crazy right-wing lunatic. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because it was really just about the family business. It was about wealth. It was power in the world. And that comes before everything else. And, I think until I actually saw it in my own life, I didn't know that I actually believed that people were this
Callous.
selfish and
Yeah.
callous. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like I saw, so there's this creator, her name is, what is her name? Meredith Lynch. She's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, and she has been just dragging people for their proximity to Jeff Bezos and this whole wedding. I mean, it's very funny. But one of them was Jessica Seinfeld. And
Oh
it
yeah, I
was,
saw Jerry Seinfeld there. What the hell was he doing
I
there?
know, Jerry Seinfeld and Jessica Seinfeld were there. Now, Jessica Seinfeld is walking out. She has an organization, a nonprofit that is to help women and people, but I think women, you know, rise above or come out of poverty. It's about like wealth inequality and things like that. So Meredith went on to this organization's website and saw that they were hiring, and it was like a director for the organization or something like this. And they were going to pay someone $24 an hour to do this job at Jessica Seinfeld's organization that was literally made to help people that are, underserved and to bring them out of poverty. And so this was, I think, was about what, like $40,000 a year or something at the end of the day. Your 401k benefits don't kick in until you've worked there for 24 months. I think it was like abysmal health benefits. And I'm like, then there's Jessica Seinfeld, who's worth millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, going off to this multi-billion dollars wedding on the other side of the world. And it's just like, it's like the callousness. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You
It's
know,
crazy.
Jerry Seinfeld, how do I put this? Is not the nicest guy.
No, I've heard this.
He's not the nicest guy.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Larry David's a great guy.
Yeah.
Despite Larry David's whole whatever. You know who's really nice, who I've run into a bunch of times if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, is Susie Essman.
Mm.
Susie's lovely.
Yeah.
But Jerry Seinfeld, not the nicest guy. Although I have a crazy Jerry Seinfeld story. Did you watch Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
Remember the Babka episode?
Yes.
So I am at Lincoln Center.
This. No one talks about this. No one talks about this. But
You
keep
know
going.
what? Forget my Babka story. Let's talk about that for a second. Yes, he dated, what's her name?
Yeah.
What
He
was her
dated a high school student when he was in his 40s. They were pictured together. There was paparazzi photos of them. Like,
Well,
this was
beyond
a
picture,
known thing.
she transferred from GW to UCLA
Oh,
to
I
be
didn't
with
know that.
him.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Shoshana Lowenstein.
Mm.
They met in the park, I think. Yeah. Big time. Shoshana Lowenstein. And Jessica Seinfeld, who was Jessica Sklar, went
Mhm.
VVM, excuse me, with one of my friends. She's the same age as I am. And interesting girl. But she was also married. Not that, whatever, I'm not going to judge, but she was,
Yeah.
yeah, but she met Jerry at the Reebok Club down the street
Right.
working out. So, like, he's
Which is
not,
across the street from ABC, right? Yeah.
which is across the street from ABC.
Yeah.
It's now an Equinox.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was walking. I was um I was at this bakery called, what is it called? You've walked by it a million times, Michelle. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, I was at this bakery and they sell this babka,
Mm-hmm.
which I never bought. But I was like, this babka looks really good. I'm going to buy this babka. And I buy this chocolate babka because it's the only kind of babka they have. I know the cinnamon babka is the better one, according to Seinfeld. But I buy this chocolate babka. And I'm laughing to myself because every time I think about babka, I think about
the babka.
The babka. Right. And I'm walking past PJ Clark's.
The one at Lincoln Center.
The one at Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
To pick my
I
son
go to
up
that one all the time. Zabar's.
With this babka under my arm.
Yeah.
And who is sitting outside? PJ Clark's at an outside table, but Jerry Seinfeld.
Get out.
As I'm cracking up to myself about the babka from Seinfeld, I see Jerry Seinfeld.
That's funny.
And I caught his eye. He caught my eye. We kind of checked each other out, not in a sketchy way, just kind of in a whatever way.
Who are you? Right.
He was like,
do I know you?
And I was like, I'm carrying a babka. Do I say something? I chose not to say anything. But yeah, so my babka story with Jerry Seinfeld was hilarious because I'm literally.
Well, he was a West Sider for a long time.
He still is.
Oh, he is? I didn't know he lives here. So
he lives in Beresford. Yeah. He still is. But I'm not giving away the secret of where Jerry Seinfeld lives. Everybody knows where Jerry Seinfeld lives.
I know. It's like, right. I mean,
right down the street from Zabar's, very close to where he fictionally lives.
Right. Where like the H&H Bagels used to be right there in 80th and Broadway. And I walk by the diner almost, I don't know, every day.
Well, you're right by it. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, Tom's. Yeah. So it's right. I mean, which is like, again, it's fine. It's like an okay diner. People are like always taking their picture out in front and like going in. I'm like,
well, the inside looks nothing like the actual inside of the.
It like looks kind of like it, but I mean, it's fine. It's a fine diner. They always have matzo ball soup, which I always appreciate. So because it's hard to find.
Yeah. I don't know Jerry Seinfeld drinks. Lucky Luck Dragon. You said you'd like to have a beer with Jerry Seinfeld. I don't know. Is he a drinker? I don't know.
I don't know.
I know he's very close to George Stephanopoulos and his wife, who was Schmoopy on Seinfeld. I don't know if people know that. That's George Stephanopoulos. Remember, you're Schmoopy. You know, you're Schmoopy. That's George Stephanopoulos' wife.
Yeah. She was in Office Space too.
Oh, she was? Okay. Well, anyway, now we're going down. I could do a whole separate show, and I could do a Seinfeld watch episode. I could do Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm is so good. It's better than Seinfeld.
I actually have not watched the whole thing through. I've watched some of it. I know. But my husband is obsessed with Seinfeld, and he and his best friend just like text each other like Seinfeld quotes and stuff. It's anytime it's on, we watch it. What's the one that we love? It's the one where they go to visit Jerry's parents.
Oh, in Florida?
In Florida.
The Boca Vista Phase 2?
It's the one where like they're fighting with the other people and the other houses.
With Jack Kloppus, with the upside down astronaut.
Yes, with the pen. And so, because my in-laws live in like a 55 and above like community like that, and then there's all kind of drama going on all the time, and people are mad at this person and this thing, and so we always would tell them about this episode, and we're like, oh, it's just like the pen. It's just like, and then we showed it to them, and they were like kind of offended. I'm
My
like, they were not laughing nearly as much as we were.
parents have the Costanza relationship. If you want to know what it was like growing up in my parents' house,
Mm-hmm.
it was like growing up with Mr. and Mrs. Costanza. Except they're a little better looking, but a lot better looking, but and younger. Yeah.
What's Elaine's back hurt from the sleeper
Let's
sofa.
back her.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then there was like no air
There's no air
conditioning or
conditioning. Like,
something.
Mrs.
I will
Seinfeld,
say, I
please.
saw the low talker, the high talker. You remember the high talker? He used to live in my old building. I used
The
to
hot
see him all
talker?
the time. Yeah,
Oh, really?
I saw him all the time. The high talker. Um,
Funny.
but yeah, So anyways, I mean, we could do a whole episode of just like famous people we've seen and all the
Yeah.
places. We should. That'd be actually pretty funny.
That's a very emotional episode for you, Jerry's dad got yes. But remember
Get
that
out of Boca Raton.
no. He just got out of Del Boca Vista, and then remember he moved to Del Boca Vista Phase 2.
Yeah, phase two. Right.
Remember he did this. He did the Nixon like
Yes, because when my father-in-law was running for like the HOA board or something like that, we were like phase 2. Again, they did not laugh at this episode as much as we did.
You know what, Michael McAndrews? My son is a huge fan of The Office. I've only watched the British Office, which is amazing. I've never watched the real Office. That's right. He was stealing because Jerry bought him a Cadillac.
That's for the rest of it. Wait, you've seen the British Office, right?
British Office is the best. I love the British Office.
Right, it's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best. So good.
And the other show that he did, Ricky Gervais, is also really good.
Yeah. You can't go wrong.
What's the show that he did? Extras. Did you ever watch Extras?
So
season 1's not so good. Season 2, so good.
And he used to do the with Carl Pilkington and the other guy. Do you remember there was like the three of them, and it was like a podcast, but there was like a cartoon to it. Do you remember this?
No.
I'll have to send it to you. It's very funny.
Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good. I love
Yeah.
him.
It's just so funny. But one of the things that I did want to just show, because I thought like it was a good roundup of just kind of everything we're talking about with the wedding and the lack of moral center and just how full of shit all of these people are. I mean, the amount of hypocritical, I'll never take any of these people seriously ever again after seeing them all attending this. And this is Meredith Lynch. This is one of the videos that she's put out in the last few days.
Fascists have found their way to Venice. The deplorables are getting married this weekend and all their guests are arriving. Let's get into it. First up, my favorite Roman Polanski apologist, Diane von Furstenberg, is there. Obviously, Kim is there, Ivanka and Jared, Trump enthusiast and megalomaniac Tom Brady, obviously Oprah, immigration advocate Elsa Marie Collins, who's trying to pretend like she's not there, and she just keeps showing us photos of her like jump roping, but I'm like, you're jump roping in Venice. I love this woman because she is simultaneously asking for Venmo donations for non-perishable goods for people who are being impacted by, you know, everything that's happening with immigrants, etc. And then at the same time, she is at Jeff Bezos's wedding. Listen, I'm not saying it's not important to help, but I feel like, you know who could probably Venmo you? Jeff Bezos. Instead of asking us for Venmo donations, why don't you just ask the billionaire whose wedding you're at? Oh, wait, it's because he is a Trump supporter, so it's hard. It's so hard having a best friend who has different views than you. These people showing up for the wedding are, to me, walking contradictions, because there are a lot of people who like to claim that they are, you know, big liberal, lefty leaning, etc. And then it's like you hang out with Jeff and Lauren, who are legitimately fascists and who have put fascism into power. The reason that Trump is the president is because of Jeff and Lauren, Diane von Furstenberg. That's a big reason why that happened. And they are continuing to uplift him. Diane von Furstenberg cracks me up because she's one of those ones who posts the Kamala stuff, and then the day after the election puts up this street lamp and is like, hey guys, just always look for the light. And it's like, yeah, is this the light that you're talking about? And don't chime in and go, don't you have friends who have different views than you? I do not have any friends who uplift Trump with $1 million. Jeff Bezos is responsible for a lot of pain and suffering and exploitation. And I don't understand how people can gather together and celebrate him in any capacity. And I don't understand who have people that have a platform that's built on like the border crisis and awareness around that can go and be at their bachelorette party of Lauren Sanchez or, celebrate that one. It's just gross. I don't know how you do it. It's a level of delusion that I think should be studied and bottled if people want to buy it. Anyway, have a good time. Ciao, Bella.
All right.
I mean,
casual observer, hilarious.
I'm dying. Lauren always looks like she's smuggling two bald men in her decolletage.
I mean, here's my app. I am all for plastic surgery. Like,
yeah, whatever.
It makes you feel better if it's your cup of tea. If you feel like you need to get it done, go for it. Like, no judgment at all. I completely support whatever choices you want to be making in your life. But I mean, if you have that kind of money, wouldn't you be getting more
better
plastic surgery? Better plastic surgery?
One would think.
But
this is again, like, she's not known for having particularly like good. She's not a trendsetter. She's not terribly stylish. Like these are not the reasons that she's ever written about. So it's not terribly surprising that
like Anna Wintour puts her on the cover of Vogue
the day after Anna Wintour announced that she's stepping down.
Yeah. But I mean, Anna Wintour.
I know.
What has this woman done to merit being on the cover of Vogue? Is she a supermodel? No. Is she the first lady of a country? No. Is she Serena Williams and has won more Wimbledons than anybody else? No. Like, what has this woman done to be put on the cover of Vogue?
I know.
What? Like, I legitimately, like, why her? But purely because she has money. Like, that's it. Because I am positive that Bezos called whoever Condé Nast and said, I'd like my wife on the cover.
Oh, 1,000% that's what happened. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a dazzling dress? No, it was not.
No, but even if it were a dazzling dress, it could be modeled by a real model. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, that dress was 1,000,000,000% not my cup of tea, but as we all know, I don't really care. As we all know, I try dresses on the day of, so I'm not the person to talk. But even if it were the most stunning wedding dress of all, like, why is she on the cover of Vogue? For what reason? Like, I would love for Anna Wintour to answer that question. Is she somebody of note? Her husband.
She's married to Jeff Bezos, right?
But that's the thing. Her husband is, right?
Right.
Her husband.
It's like the whole I'm an astronaut and, calling yourself an astronaut because your boyfriend or,
your boyfriend put you up
into a penis rocket up into the space for 10 seconds.
God bless. Like, you want to be an astronaut? Like, me too. Put me in a rocket, I'll be an astronaut. But the reason you became an astronaut is because your husband owns the company that owns the rockets.
Yeah, he bought her the car. I'm sure that this is why.
I'm sure. Like, it's
the same thing that Amazon's making that documentary about Melania Trump. That's costing $40 million.
Yeah.
And they're paying Melania Trump $40 million
to lease the rights to her story. Yeah. Not to buy the rights, to lease the rights to her story.
Right. It's such horseshit. It's so stupid. Yeah. Billionaires trying to buy royal vibes. Oh, absolutely. And that's another reason why, the consolidation of power and like this monarchy obsession, like this is where it comes from.
But let's think about what you're teaching little girls. And I don't want to get on this diatribe when we really do have to go. But like, I gotta say, it used to be that you would teach little girls to, like, I don't know, run for president.
Yeah.
Or go be an astronaut because you, like Sally Ride, right? You go to NASA and you become an astronaut. Why are we now teaching little girls to go marry a billionaire?
I know.
I mean, I would no more teach, like, this is the same thing as being like, you can marry a prince. You could be like Kate Middleton or what's her name? Meghan Markle. You can marry, like, would you ever raise your daughter to be like, you can marry a prince and therefore you're important? Of course not. Of course not.
No.
Why are we telling little girls that they could be like Lauren Sanchez and be on the cover of Vogue And they keep trying to make her into something. Keep saying, well, she's a pilot. Okay, great. She's a pilot. Fantastic. She took X number of of flying lessons. Great.
Right.
And then she was a broadcaster. She was on some. She was a.
Listen.
Like
my thing is, like, if you want to be something, go be something. If you want to do something, go do something.
Yeah.
Like, don't make it up. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't buy it like a costume. You know what I mean? It feels like everyone's like costuming or cosplaying, actually doing things and being something and contributing to the world. And these people just want to, it's like Donald Trump, right? He doesn't want to earn, a Nobel Peace Prize. He just wants to like cheat and do something stupid so that someone will nominate him. He doesn't want to serve his country. He just wants some, poor disabled veteran to give their Purple Heart to him. And he's like, I've always wanted one of these. But like, that's how these people are. They're terrible.
But you're right. Like Onelia, like what's Melania's story? Same thing. And I don't say what you will, but you had Hillary Clinton, who had a real job, was a partner in a law firm, worked in the Watergate Commission, and actually had like a real job. Now, I don't subscribe to the fact that she became a senator because she was a first lady. By the way, she was an excellent senator for New York.
Yeah, she was a great senator.
But I will say she got there because she was married to Bill Clinton, not because, she was qualified to be a senator. Given. However, she had a real career before that. Michelle Obama, God bless, Princeton undergrad, Harvard Law School, worked as a partner in a law firm.
She worked at Sidley Austin. She was an associate.
Worked until her husband got to the White House.
Yep.
Right. Jill Biden got a PhD and taught community college all throughout her husband's career, all the time. Melania, if you live in New York and you hang out downtown, there are a billion Eastern European models who are here. And they're here for one reason and one. They're not pretty enough to be on the cover of anything. They're not pretty enough to open up a runway show. They're tall and they're pretty. And let me tell you, as the one short girl from the former Soviet bloc, they're all like 10 feet tall. I've always said, I don't know what happened because the rest of them are all like 10 feet tall. So being a tall, skinny girl from Eastern Europe is not really a big deal.
Right.
And she's fine. But like, she's not there because the Einstein visa, I don't know. She must have had a sponsor, and I don't know who her sponsor was, but I guarantee you it wasn't because she was contributing anything to society.
So do you know about this exchange that happened between Jasmine Crockett and the guy from the Cato Institute in Congress the other day? Did you see this?
Yes, it was great.
I have it. We should watch it. We should watch it.
I want to defend Melania real quick. Not everybody could marry Donald Trump.
And wait, that's not the right one. Hold on. Let me remove this. Hold on. I have it. Hold on. Because it's just too good. We all have to watch it. Is this it? Yeah, let's put this.
The First Lady, a model. And when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what's that stands for is an Einstein visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, and this is what the guy from the Cato Institute said.
So I think she deserves credit.
Hold on.
But I also want to defend Melania real quick. Not everybody could marry Donald Trump, and I think that's quite an achievement. So I think she deserves credit for that. Nobody up here could have done it.
You sure right. I couldn't do it. But anyway, in fact.
But I also.
Oh, God bless. God bless.
She's so good, Jasmine Crockett.
I love her.
Such a crime. Democratic leadership doesn't want to.
Oh, it's just listen. That's a whole nother show.
It's a whole other show. She's so good. And again, it is not because Melania is a Republican. It is not because she's married to Donald Trump. It is because this woman has done jack shit in her life. Nothing. And everybody's like, she speaks 4 languages. Really? Does she
I
speak
mean,
English?
not saying she doesn't. I'm just saying
Does she
I'd
speak
like
them?
to
Does she
hear it.
speak them the way she speaks English? What? Because me too. I speak 4 languages, but I speak some of them a little better than others.
Yeah, you speak 4 languages? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I speak some of them. I speak 4 languages.
Hmm.
I would say I speak 2 languages, and then I speak 2 more.
Got it.
That's how I think she speaks 4 languages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
come on. Come on. And I don't care how many languages she speaks. You don't get an Einstein visa for that. So what? So what? Is France going to give me a citizenship now or a visa to live there because I speak French? I don't know.
Rules for
Thee, but not for me.
but not for me, right? For people who hate immigrants so much, they sure seem to procreate with them and
Yeah.
have no problem sneaking them through past the border with some, breaking of laws and stretching of.
We could do a whole separate show, and we've talked about this before. I do the show with
Yeah.
Opal Latman on Thursdays, which some people I know in this chat watch. But we could have a whole discussion about Ivana Trump and how none of that adds up. None of it adds up. None of it adds up.
And that poor woman ended up buried in a golf course.
So her husband could get a tax break.
Yep.
And I was actually, I drive past Bedminster. I drive past that golf course every week because I go out to Pennsylvania and it's right on the way. And it is hard up on an interstate highway. It is a complete and utter shithole.
Yeah. And the media market, I will just remind people, the media market in Bedminster is dirt cheap. If you want to run ads at Bedminster over the summer when he's there, it doesn't cost very much money.
Send some money to Seneca, you guys.
I'm talking like a couple $1,000 to run it on Fox for a weekend. Like it ain't nothing.
It's that. Yep, that interconnect is really cheap. And
just saying.
Yeah. And yeah. You know what? I don't know if Melania, somebody here says she speaks Russian. I don't know. But if I'm over at Melania's presence, I'll start speaking Russian.
Yeah, you should find out. Just start speaking Russian
I'll see
to
what
her.
her reaction is. You know what? She probably, in fairness to her, she probably does because the Soviets insisted that all the satellite.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So actually, that's not.
That makes sense.
If she does, it's probably because she was force fed. And by the way, I went to Slovenia a few years ago, which is a beautiful country. And to be honest, I don't know what she's doing living here. I'd be perfectly happy living in Slovenia. It is a little gem in the Alps and it's gorgeous, but it's very similar to Russian. Like not the way it's spoken, but the way it's written. I understood as somebody who speaks Russian, understood pretty much everything that was in writing. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but so I wouldn't be surprised if she does speak Russian because it's very close to Slovenian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know if she's the asset, but we can have a whole separate show about Ivana because I have some very, very, very good evidence of why Ivana Trump was not here as some defector chick in the 70s and 80s.
Well, and Laura Benanti, if you guys know who Laura Benanti is,
so good.
I've been meaning to reach out to her because we have a friend in common and I've been wanting to get in touch with her. And then I actually just remembered that I have to do that. She plays Melania Trump on Stephen Colbert and she is so good. And I'm going to try to have her on the show. So,
ooh, excellent.
Yeah. So we can talk to her. What's that? I know. I don't know who has the IP, who owns the IP for, Laura Benanti's Melania, but we can see.
Well, hopefully Stephen Colbert won't sue us. He's a very nice guy. So
yes, he is. I love him. I love him so much.
All right, I had
everybody.
so much fun doing the show. If you guys want more of this, just stream of consciousness, chick talk without any kind of agenda.
Yeah, no, just chit chat. And it was great. And honestly, we couldn't have gone this long had people not been in the chat and just engaging with us and asking us questions and chiming in. So thank you everybody for
Everybody.
being here. Yeah.
And we're gonna figure out a specific time of day to do this, week to do
Mhm.
this. I don't know if Sunday nights work for folks. I think it might not work for my
Yeah.
family.
Or you know what? We can also just kind of like bop around too. I don't think, you know what I mean? I feel like it doesn't always have to be at the same time, does it? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. I'm so glad we did it. We're still coming up with a name for the show. If anybody has any
Yeah.
suggestions, shoot them over in the chat because we have been racking our brains. We don't have any. And then we'll just keep it going because you know what? I'm kind of tired of the manosphere, and I know Michelle is too.
I'm very tired of it.
And we're going to do a women's sphere. So how about that?
Yeah. I like
And
that.
I'm glad it took away your Sunday night spilkus. I'm really happy to hear that. Hopefully we'll all get some sleep tonight. What I wish for all of you is what I wish for myself. Don't wake up at 2:00 in the morning checking the New York Times homepage. How about that?
Yeah. I wish you all.
Galasphere. I like that. The Galasphere.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, wait. I just clicked on the wrong one. Galasphere. That's really, I actually like that a lot.
I like that a
I like that
lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Me
Galasphere.
too.
All right.
Jeez, we've been racking our brains, so that's definitely going at the top of the
I know.
list.
I'm like womanosphere. I was like, that's too many
As
syllables.
the
I can't do
world
it.
burns. All my hot flashes. All right.
Sounds like wine moms. I actually don't drink that much, but
I
I you know, yeah, I'm like Godspeed to those who do.
I did go out for drinks a couple weeks ago, and I had 4 drinks, which is 4 more than I think I've had.
Yeah, I was so hungover for like 2 days.
I legitimately, that was like a month ago, 2 months ago. I don't think I've actually had a drop of alcohol since. So
yeah,
kind of lame. But I love Galasphere. That's awesome.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
All right.
So, all right, everybody.
Great to see you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.